Good day, everyone. Today we're going to be looking at Agile. I know some might have been hearing about the term Agile as a cliche in project management. So today we're going to be introducing what Agile is all about. We're going to be looking at the basics of Agile project management and how we can apply it and the benefits that we can get from it on our project. Okay, Agile is it was initially designed for software projects, but it is a methodology that can be used on all project types. It's an umbrella term that is used to refer to different types of iterative development. And when it comes to projects and development that you need to do in bits, all right? Basically, when the requirements are not clear right from the beginning, Agile is a concept, is a methodology that can be used to manage projects that they will have some level of uncertainty, some level of volatility at the beginning. And Scrum is the most common type of Agile. There are other types of Agile project methodology. We have extreme programming, we have lean development, we have Kanban. All right. So what the difference basically that we have between Agile and traditional project management is the fact that Agile builds in increments as against the traditional project management that at the end of the day, for instance, a construction project, when you deliver the product, is delivered as a completed project. But in terms of Agile, when the requirements are not clear from the beginning, you can build in increments, and through feedback mechanism you iterate and until you're able to get the final project. Now Agile does planning throughout, and for traditional project management, detailed planning is done. Basically the major part of the planning is done at the beginning, but in Agile, planning is done throughout. Agile delivers products over a period of time, while traditional project management delivers at once. One major advantage of Agile project management is the fact that customers sees value faster. After a few iterations, customer has the privilege of having access to value. While in traditional project management, the product and the value is gotten at the end of the project. Agile wants changes, it embraces changes. If you are doing a project that is subjected to a lot of changes, then you can use Agile project management. And the traditional project management discourages changes. So what are the benefits? We want to look at the benefits that you can get from Agile. The first thing is customers are involved throughout the life cycle. It's an advantage that you do some project, you want to deliver it, and you begin to hear all kinds of stories. This is not what we want, this is not what we requested, and stuff like that. But through the mechanism of feedback, customer is involved throughout. There is a greater customer interaction with our stakeholders, the project stakeholders. Constant feedback is required to stay current and successful. The end users, the customers, they constantly give feedback so that the value, the product, the service, the result that will be delivered is acceptable to the end users. Then greater value upfront. A lot of projects you've invested so much and you need to wait till the end of the project before you can get value. But project management is not the case. Right from the beginning, after a few iterations, when you have a minimum viable product, you begin to get value for all your effort. Change is welcome by all stakeholders. That's one of the major advantages of Agile Project Management. Then, Agile concurrent development. You fund incrementally. You can hand, you can redirect, and you can cancel at very granular level. Since funds is not released once, so as you are producing incremental MPVs, minimum viable products, you can, when you discover that the product you have is not meeting your requirement, you can decide at that early stage to extend, to redirect, or is cancel a project. Then you deliver and realize value steadily. One of the advantages of Agile Project Management is that things are done in bits. They are done in stages. They are not done as a chunk. They are done gradually. And as you are getting product delivered gradually, you are also getting value incrementally. And validate the science with users and customers. It's very key for you to embark on a project and you are sure that that project will not be rejected, because users and customers are always there to validate what you are working on, and you also continuously adapt to risk and change. Then you integrate early on. Risk is integrated at the beginning, and as is required, you are able to manage your risk and change, and you integrate them as you move on to your project. Now, sometimes in 2001, some guys came together that have been practicing Agile Project Management for some time, and they came up with the Declaration of Independence, and this talks about what the principles that guides Agile Project Management. So basically, this Declaration of Independence talks about Agile and is an adaptive approach that aims to link people, they aim to link projects, and they aim to link value. There's a synergy between projects, between the people, and the value and that is going to be created. So we are a community of project leaders that are highly successful at delivering results. To achieve this result, we increase return on investment by making continuous flow of value our focus. The main focus of Agile Project Management is what? A continuous flow of value. They concentrate so much on value from projects that are being done. We deliver reliable results by engaging customers by continuous flow. We deliver reliable results by engaging customers in frequent interactions and shared ownership. You don't end up delivering a project at the end of the day we have issues. So incrementally, stage by stage, steady by steady, results are being delivered to customers in an engaging way so that changes can quickly and easily be made as at when required. We expect uncertainty and manage it for it through iterations, anticipation, and adaptation. The key word is iterations, bit by bit. Anticipation, they expect changes to come. Uncertainty, the Agile thrives in an environment with high level of uncertainty. And we quickly also adapt. Adaptation is one of the key elements of Agile Project Management. We unleash creativity and innovation by recognizing that individuals are the ultimate source of value and creating an environment where they can make a difference. In Agile Project Management, an enabling environment is given to motivated individuals so that they can be creative, they can be innovative, so as to deliver value. We boost performance through group accountability for results and shared responsibility for team effectiveness. These guys, they believe that when there is accountability and when there is shared responsibility, the teams will be highly effective. We improve effectiveness and reliability through situational specific strategies, processes, and practices. So this is the Agile Declaration of Independence. So what is the Agile mindset? The first thing about Agile mindset is that Agile welcomes change. Agile mindset prefers working in small value increments, using build and feedback loops, and learning through discovery in the process. Value-driven development, failing fast with learning continuous delivery, and also they believe so much in continuous improvement, continuous delivery, continuous improvement, getting feedback, working on what you have to make it better in small chunks so that value can be delivered within the shortest period of time. So inverting the triangle, this is a comparison between traditional project management and Agile project management, which is also called adaptive project management. Traditional project management is referred to as predictive. Now, in predictive project management, which is traditional project management, scope is usually fixed and time and cost can change. But in Agile project management, the reverse is the case. The time and the cost is usually fixed, and within that time, you can change the scope, but at the end of a particular set of time, we should be able to deliver a product that meets our requirements. So Agile Manifesto was created in 2001. It contains 4 values and 12 guiding principles. For a detailed explanation about Agile Project Management, you can check the website attached here, https // agilemanifesto.org// and you can check that website to look at the Agile Manifesto that was created in 2001. So what is it all about? What is the Agile Manifesto values? We are uncovering better ways of developing software by doing it and helping others do it. Through this work, we have come to value individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Working software accept working projects over comprehensive documentation. Customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Responding to change over following a plan. And where there's a caveat which says, that is, where there's a value in the items on the right with value the items on the left more. So let's quickly look at these values and these principles one by one. So firstly, we look at the values. The first value says individual and interaction over processes and tools. While processes and tools will likely be necessary on our projects, we should focus the team's attention on the individuals and interactions involved. It's very important. Projects are done by human beings. So effort should be focused on individuals and the interaction. Problems get solved by people, not processes. Projects are ultimately about the people. So Agile emphasizes the importance of individuals and interactions. Tools are required. Processes are good to be put in place. But much more than that, for your project to be successful, the individual that will be getting it done and their interaction is of equal importance. The second principle is value says working software over comprehensive documentation. The focus here is on delivering the value as against the paperwork. You want to deliver a product that without much bulky manuals and documentation, is simple enough for you to understand what the product is all about. Agile documents should be barely sufficient. They should not be too much. They should not be too bogus. Done just in time. Done just because. Delivering software that does what it should come first before creating documentation. Whatever you are creating, be it a software, be it a construction project, it should be simple enough to be understood by end users without unnecessary bulky documentation. Agile dramatically simplify the administrative paperwork relating to time, to cost, and to scope control. Then the third value talks about customer collaboration over contract negotiation. It has to be flexible and it has to be accommodating instead of being fixed or uncooperative. Customers, there should be a kind of collaboration with the end users. All right, we should be able to manage change as they come. Don't suppress change. There's a shared definition of done, which is what is expected in terms of requirement for the project. It has to be clear from the beginning, from the project team side and the customer side, in terms of what the requirement is all about. And it requires a relationship that is built on trust. And the last point here says responding to change over following a plan. In Agile projects, effort should be spent on energy should be spent on responding to change because software projects tend to have high rates of change. So in any project that you want to approach with an agile mindset, enough time and effort should be devoted to responding to change. All right. So quickly, we want to look at the 12 principles of Agile Project Management. We have 12 of them, and we're going to be looking at the first 3. The highest priority is to satisfy the customer through an early and continuous delivery of valuable software, or as the case may be, valuable projects. So the priority should be what? To satisfy the customers as early as possible from the beginning of the project. Change is always welcomed, even though it is late in the project. Agile processes and exchange for the customer's competitive advantage. And the focus is on delivering working software frequently, from a couple of weeks to a couple of months, with a preference to the shorter time scale. The investors, the customers, the end users, they want to have value for their investment, as it were, as early as possible. And that's what Agile delivers. So the next 3 principles: business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. Agile lay emphasis on one-on-one interaction and day-to-day interaction. Build projects around motivated individuals. Give them the environment and support the need. Then trust them to get the job done. Agile teams should be built around people that are motivated. It is the responsibility of the project manager to now give them the environment, to support them, and to trust them enough to get the job done. That's why it's also very important to be involved in the selection of the project team that are capable enough to get the work done. The most efficient and effective method of conveying information to and within a development team is a face-to-face. Yes, we live in times where there are a lot of people now work from home, but face-to-face interaction is very, very important, and that's why we also have virtual teams still working together now very closely to get so much done when there's face-to-face interaction. Working software is the primary measure of progress. A working product, an acceptable project is the measure of progress in Agile. Primary measure of progress is what you are delivering is meeting up to the expectation of the customers, is meeting up to the expectation of the end users. Agile processes promote sustainable development. The sponsors, the developers, and users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely. The velocity, that talks about the velocity of the team, what they are able to achieve per time. All right, it is expected that they maintain a constant pace when it comes to delivering the product in question. Continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhances agility. Technical competence of team members is very key. The project manager should pay attention to it, and good design also enhances agility. Simplicity, the act of maximizing the amount of work not done, is essential. When work is not completed within a sprint, which we will learn about in a couple of minutes, it is returned back to the backlog so that it can be simplified. The best architectures, requirements, and designs emerge from self-organizing teams. Agile teams should be able to organize themselves, and they should be able to get work done in the simplest way. At regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behavior accordingly, which is called retrospective. It is entrenched in the principle of Agile that from time to time the team sits together and they reflect on what has been done and how improvements can be made going forward. So we have over 12 Agile methods, Agile methodologies. There are quite a number of them out there, and the most common one is Scrum, Extreme Programming, Kanban development. We talked about board, visibility, and Lean software development. These are some of the Agile methodologies that we have around. So let's look at Agile terms. Agile terms, and the product owner is the designated person that represents the customer on the project. It's like the customer representative on the project. The Agile Project Manager is the one that is responsible for managing the Agile project. Product backlog. This is a compilation of project requirements from stakeholders. It is a compilation of project requirements from stakeholders. Then sprint planning meeting. Meeting done by the Agile team to determine what features will be done in the next sprint. This is a planning meeting that is done by the team, the Agile team, to determine what features that will be executed in the next sprint. What is the sprint? We'll get to learn that shortly. Sprint backlog. Work the team select to get done in the next sprint. Alright? In the next phase of work. That is what the sprint is all about. Sprint now is a short iteration where the project team work to complete the work in the sprint backlog. Basically, is that iteration period takes between 1 to 4 weeks. If you have work to be done and it's more than 4 weeks, it will be pushed to the next sprint. So this is the incremental way of working in Agile. You do sprint, you work in chunk within a week to a month. You have agreed on some item of work to be done, and you get it done in that period. And daily stand-up meeting is a quick meeting each day, which is not supposed to pass more than 15 minutes, where the team discusses the project status. It is meant to be led by the Scrum Master. The project manager in a Scrum is a Scrum Master. All right. So this meeting usually happens mostly at the beginning of the day, and then Agile lay more emphasis on face-to-face interaction quickly at the beginning of the day. And what will be discussed in that daily stand-up meeting is what we have done before, what we are doing, and the obstacles that we need to remove from our way. A sprint review is an inspection done at the end of each sprint by the customer. When a sprint is completed, it is expected that customers inspect what has been done and they give feedback. Retrospective is meeting done to determine what went wrong during the sprint and what went right, and the lesson also learned from the sprint. Retrospective is basically for the team members. All right. Whereas in terms of sprint review, the customer is involved for inspection. Then partial completed product. Customer demo the product and provides feedback. This feedback are just the next sprint priorities. And what is a release? A release is a several sprints worth of work directed to operations for possible rollout and testing. It's also called MPV, minimum viable product. When iterations has taken place and what we have is able to be delivered to a customer, it is called a release. We can also see that sprint is synonymous to iteration. So what is the process? The process, the Agile process, from what we can see here, we can see that we have the customers and the product owners. They prioritize what needs to be done, all right, and it goes to the product backlog. So these are the list of requirements for the project, and from this list, sprint planning review is done to determine what will be done in each sprint, and whatever is determined will be put in the sprint padlock, and sprint padlock, and the iteration continue to take place. Projects can have many iterations, and from there review takes place. retrospective takes place, and at the end of the day, potentially shippable product increment is achieved. It is a circle that goes on like this until the final project and the product is achieved. So what is Scrum? It's a set of team guidance practices, roles, events, artifacts, and rules. And it is based on the 3 pillars of transparency, of inspection, and adaptation. It is based on the 3 pillars of transparency, inspection, and adaptation. In terms of transparency, it has to be visible to those responsible for the outcome. Visibility to those responsible for the outcome. In terms of inspection, timely checks on how well a project is progressing towards goals, looks for problematic deviations or differences from goals. Then adaptability is also very important, adjusting a process to minimize further issues if an inspection shows the problem or desirable trend. Scrum roles and responsibilities. Number 1 is the product owner. Who is the product owner? The product owner owns the product vision. It defines features, decides on release date, and the content. And the product owner is also responsible for market success. The work of prioritization is basically the responsibility of the product owner, and this is done according to market value. The product owner can change features and prioritizes every sprint. Who is the Scrum Master, which is synonymous to a project manager? He is responsible for facilitating process. He focuses on the team and protects them from external interruptions. It removes obstacles on their way. It ensures the team is focused. It looks for ways to enhance productivity, and it assists the product owner in leveraging on Scrum. Alright, the development team is the small group containing all necessary project skills. The development team has the requisite skill that is necessary in delivering the project. They focus on steady delivery of high quality features, and they generate options also for delivery. They manage homework within sprint. They are meant to be able to work independently and being able also to solve their problems. Scrum activities. Scrum methodology refers to different types of activities in a Scrum. We have what is called sprint planning meeting. This is where features that will be dealt with in the next iteration, the next or sprint, as the case may be, is being decided. Then sprint daily stand-up meeting is the daily meeting, which is usually 15 minutes. It's a daily stand-up meeting. The word stand-up is coined there because most times it's a short meeting, and at times team members prefer to just stand up, look at their the activities that features that will be developed through that sprint. Okay, so the sprint review meeting happens at the end of the sprint, which involves the customers, where the sprint retrospective looked at what we have done, and it also happens at the end of each sprint, but it involves the team development team. So team review is to present what has been done to the customer for review, Why sprint retrospective is a meeting within the development team, all right, to look at what has been done, how processes can be improved. All right, so let's look at sprint planning meeting, used to determine what work will be done in that sprint and how the work will be achieved. The development team predicts what can be delivered based on estimates, projected capacity, and past performance to define the sprint goal. So it's a function of the estimates of what to be done, the capacity what the team can deliver, and also the velocity they were able to achieve during the last sprint. So all these things looked at together, integrated to define the sprint goal. So the development team then determines how this functionality will be built and how the team will organize to deliver the sprint goal. The output of this will be a sprint backlog. The work to be get done in the next sprint. All right. So it's a planning phase for the next sprint that is going to take place. The sprint is a time box. When you say something is a time box, it's time limit. Iteration. Time is limited by time. Iteration of between 1 to 4 weeks to build a potentially releasable product. So when you have series of activities to be done and you see that you will not be able to achieve it within 4 weeks, so what usually is done is that you break it down and some you push to the next iteration or to the next sprint. Each sprint includes a separate sprint planning meeting, daily scrum, the actual work, a sprint review meeting, and the sprint retrospective. So these artifacts will be involved in the planning of a sprint. All right. During the sprint, no changes are made that will affect the sprint. Changes can be made before in the planning stage. What will be done, but during each sprint, which takes between 1 to 4 weeks, you cannot make changes. All right. Then the development team members are also kept the same throughout the sprint. Members are not supposed to be changed within a sprint. They can be changed before or after a sprint. Then daily scrum or startup meeting. What does it involve? Is a 15-minute time box activity for the development team to synchronize activities and create a plan for the next 4 hours. You know, one advantage and one thing I like about Agile and Scrum is the fact that the flexibility is there. Planning is a continuous exercise. So during this 15 minutes meeting, you plan what you're going to do for the next 24 hours. It should be held at the same time and the same place each day. All right. Each team member should answer 3 questions. What did you do yesterday? What will you do today? Are there any impediments in your way? If these 3 things are clearly defined, it makes the work to run smoothly. So sprint review takes place at the end of the sprint. It is designed to gather feedback from stakeholders on what the team has completed in the sprint. Team demonstrates work that was completed during the sprint. To create a conversation between the team and the stakeholders about how to make the project better, to the product to be better. It should be time box, but no more than 1 hour per week of sprint. So if it should be detailed enough, it should be concise enough. Within an hour, the sprint review should be done. So what basically distinguishes the sprint review with the sprint retrospective is the fact that sprint review is where stakeholders are involved, but in sprint retrospective is basically within the team. All right, so we want to look at sprint retrospective. Sprint retrospective. This is a meeting that is done within the team members at the end of a sprint. It gives an opportunity for the team to inspect and create a plan for improvement to be done during the next sprint. The team discusses what went well, what went wrong, what to do more of, and what to do less of. So let's look at some Scrum artifacts. Sprint product increment, part of the product that is complete after each sprint. Product backlog is the prioritized list of valuable items to deliver. It is worthy of note to also mention that it is the product owner that prioritizes the list of valuable items to be delivered. All right, and it is kept in a product backlog. Then we have the sprint backlog, is the list of committed items to be addressed within the next sprint. So product backlog is for the whole project, while sprint backlog is the list of requirements for the next, for a particular sprint. All right. So product backlog is a prioritized list of all work that needs to be done to complete the product or the project. List is dynamics. It evolves as more work is added and more is prioritized. As feedback comes, then the list is rejigged and revalued, and in order of priority, the work is being done. Items in it is prioritized by the product owner and is sorted by value. There's a value in terms of level of importance, and is based on value. Okay, so most valuable items are listed first, constantly being refined as more work is added to it. Team and product owner will groom the backlog. Grooming the backlog, it means refining the backlog, checking what is there. It is the responsibility of the team and the product owner to ensure that the product backlog is being done properly. All right. So product increment, part of the product that is done after each sprint. All right. So after each sprint, it is expected that a portion of a product or a project is delivered. All right. So it is done to get feedback after each sprint. So when a product increment or a project increment is delivered, then it is sent to the customer for feedback. All right. The product owner and team needs to agree upon the definition of done before the team starts working on the product. What is definition of done? Definition of done is the requirement that needs to be met before a project can be acceptable. All right. The sprint backlog is the set of items from the product backlog that were selected for a specific sprint. So it's just like a mini requirement for a particular sprint. That's basically, and it is a subset of the product backlog. The sprint backlog is accompanied by a plan of how to achieve the sprint goal. So it serves as the development team's forecast for the functionality that will be part of the sprint. It is a highly visible view of the work being undertaken and may only be updated by the development team. So the responsibility for updating or adding to the sprint backlog has to be done by the development team. All right. Definition of done. It is a shared understanding of what it means when work is considered done. It should be defined at the beginning of the project, and it applies globally to the project. So definition of done is a crucial element of a successful Scrum software or project development. It's a requirement, basically. It's a shared understanding, agreed upon requirement that needs to be completed before a project can be acceptable. It might include things like unit and functional tests, documentation, writing code. So that is the end of the lesson for today. See you next time.